Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the official Nerd Talk channel. My name is Tyler, aka Mind of a Nerd, joined by my co-host AJ Reacts to and our good friend to Bobby. And we are back for another episode of Nerd Talk. We are on episode 117, and tonight we are doing a live spoiler talk for A Quiet Place Day 1. We're also going to be covering episode 3 of season 2 of House of the Dragon and latest trailer. One trailer. Very slow week for news and trailers. What's going on, everybody?
I'm good, man. Just came back from the county fair and saw a water skiing squirrel.
Yo,
Twiggy.
That's nuts.
Yes, her name is Twiggy. Go find her on Instagram. But yeah, I'm here. I'm here to talk about Quiet Place Day 1. I'm kind of hyped.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thanks to y'all for having me. Episode 117. I feel like we have to give a shout out to Master Chief, Spartan 117, John 117 with that. Yeah, here to talk about Quiet Place. And tomorrow, celebrate our country's independence. And what better way to do that than rocking some sweet Cody Rhodes merch?
Nice.
He's looking down on us right now, proudly from the wall.
Yeah, my the day before the 4th of July in retail.
Woof.
Information, what you will. It was fun.
Same.
It's whatever. But home and Nerd Talk is always the best part of my Wednesdays, so I'm very excited. So without further ado, let's get into tonight's show, starting with the one and only trailer we have for tonight, and it is the official trailer for Cobra Kai season 6. So we love Cobra Kai around here. Cobra Kai is one of the better Netflix shows that exist right now. I love pretty much every season across the board. Season 6 was like top tier until the last 30 seconds of season 5 was top tier until the last 30 seconds of that season wanted to be Scooby-Doo, and I was just like, what okay, whatever. And now we're getting season 6, and it's been confirmed that it will be split into 3 parts because you gotta split TV into 3 parts now. First it was, you're making a horror movie? Okay, cool. Give me a trilogy right off the bat. Now it's, oh no, now we got to split everything into 3 parts. Streaming, pal.
Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
No, Prime 2. Prime 2. They did it with Invincible.
I mean, back in my day, when it would be, like Christmas, you'd have to get a break and you'd get reruns, and then you get your it's off for the summer. So in a sense, we've always kind of had it that way, but we've just had reruns fed to us in that downtime.
The difference is that we binge that. Like whenever it drops, we just binge that, and then we have to wait. So it's like one day, basically 1 or 2 days in a row, and then we get that break. And but yeah, it's mainly Netflix though. Prime rarely does it.
I feel like if you're gonna do this, you need to structure your season very carefully. That's all I'm gonna say on that. I talked about this in detail when I did the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes spoiler talk about how I feel about this. Going into the season, I was excited because we're getting another tournament. I feel like we've been getting beat over the head with tournaments in this show at this point, but we're getting another tournament. It's like a world tournament, and our characters are training for it. And then in Japan, we got Priest coming back, and he's training with that karate master from season 5, and they're doing whatever they're doing in Japan. So as a trailer, I mean, what can I say? Cobra Kai knows how to make a good trailer. They I think all of their trailers have been good, and this season looks very good. It looks like, your normal Cobra Kai stuff in a good way. It looks like they're gonna go all out for a last season. And I'm excited to see where it goes. There's a lot of moving pieces this season because you have, you know, um, Johnny, Daniel, and Shozen. They're working together again, and then you have Kreese doing his little side plot, and then Terry Silver's not in this trailer, and I feel like at some point he's going to enter this season. What role he's going to play, I don't know, but I feel like he's going to play a role in this season.
I'm guessing part 2
I would
at the
even
tail end of part 1. And
I would even bet part 3. He doesn't show till part 3. I don't know.
I can see that.
But, as a trailer, like I said, it looks good. They kind of just gave you the baseline of what's happening, and I'm fine with that. I'm gonna watch it anyway. It's Cobra Kai. I love this show, and I'm excited to see what this final season has in store for us.
So as far as Cobra Kai is concerned, I'm one of those day ones. I like to brag on this and say I was watching it when it was a YouTube Red original. So I'm not one of y'all Netflix, bandwagoners. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so I love Cobra Kai. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. And do I feel like it could have ended at season 5? I do.
Maybe
But
season
seeing
4.
this trailer, it makes me hype for season 6, and I feel like this is going to be it's going to be epic, and it's going to tie everything together with a bow and like have a nice send off. I hope that's what it does. The trailer looks dope. A lot of action sequences, a lot of comedy sequences because this show is a comedy as well. And it looks like they're having fun on their last ride for this show, and seeing those three working together, like truly working together, is going to be interesting. There's going to be riffs and arguments and fights. You can see it already in the trailer. There's some tension a little bit, between Johnny and Daniel and Chosen a little bit. So, I'm excited to see that. As far as the 3-part thing, I don't really mind it. Like Tyler was saying, though, I hope they structure it very well, and know what they're doing with that. But in general, I don't mind the breaking up the season. But yeah, this trailer was dope, and I'm looking forward to season 6. Hopefully, like I said, it has a nice send off. But yeah, that's how I feel.
Bobby?
Well, as somebody that's not watched a single episode of Cobra Kai, I watched this trailer from a different perspective, just for like the information I was given and just the quality of it. I enjoyed watching it because like it reminded me of like back in the day, like you get like your first or second episode into an anime, and they would do this almost trailer built into the episode of like things that you would expect in the coming season, and like you'd see these out of context conversations, or you'd see these big moments out of context, like, oh, what's in the box, but not like what's in the box, but I like, that's the vibe that I felt like. I really enjoyed this way it was structured, and as somebody that's not watched it, now I like it inched me closer to like actually like getting on the ball and starting it up. And I know I got a lot of catching up to do.
Do it.
Do it. And yeah, I think you
it is.
I think you were right when you were talking about like the way we do kind of consume it is different. Yeah, when we kind of binge it now, it's not like back in the day, because back in the day it was weekly. Like if it was like a weekly, kind of release and then they did a break, it would make a little bit more sense. But yeah, it's like here's an extended length movie. All right, you got to wait another 4 or 5 months to watch this extended length movie. It's broken up. So, but yeah, I enjoyed the trailer. It was fun. I had no idea what was going on, but it was fun.
All I'm gonna say, as regards to the 3-part thing, I hope they split it up evenly. The biggest issue I had when Stranger Things did it was that they made it to where they split up. What was it, like 5 episodes? The first half, and then the second half was like the regular puny episode, and then the finale was the hour and a half, 2 hour, or however long it was.
Yeah, duration wise, it was weird,
and it made no sense. I was like, you should have just made it to where they released the first 6, and then the 7th was its own thing.
Mhm.
I hope that if they're releasing it in 3 parts, we don't know how long it's gonna be. Release it. Let's say hypothetically 9 episodes.
I read that it's going to be 5 episodes apiece, so
Okay. Oh
15
yeah,
total.
it's 5. Yeah. Okay. So hopefully it's 5 apiece.
Mhm.
That's all I hope in regards to that, because I don't want it to be where it's like they release what 8 or 7, like they release 7, and then one big final one is the third part. It's like, what are y'all doing, bro? But like I said, this trailer was kind of brief, but I feel like that's how most Cobra Kai trailers go. They're kind of just like, yeah, the season's coming out. Here you go. I hope it ends with a bang. That's all I'm saying. I hope they don't try to do too much, because I feel like the whole thing with Kreese in season 5, it was just like, what what are we doing, bro? What are we doing here? I feel like they wrote themselves into a corner with that, and they felt the only way to get him out of that situation was what they did. I was like, this is so goofy. But if you guys have seen Cobra Kai in its entirety up to this point, let us know down below. What is your favorite season so far? My favorite season is probably season 4 right now. That season was god tier. And if you've seen the trailer for season 6, are you guys excited? And will you be watching them as they release, or will you wait until next year when part 3 finishes and you'll watch it all in one sitting? Moving on to our review of House of the Dragon episode 3. We're going to keep this brief because this episode was a whole lot of nothing, and I don't need to sit here and talk about this for 20 minutes. So we ended last week to what was the ending last week?
In
I don't
episode 2,
episode 2. What was the I forgot
that
how it
was
ended.
that was um. So Otto is out as
Yeah,
the
okay.
hand.
Yeah. So Otto is removed as the hand of the king, and the Menace Cole over there was labeled as hand of the king, and that's kind of what set off this episode. I'm Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. They're two shows that are built up, to where a lot of the season is essentially build up, and then the last normally 3 episodes is just insanity, and it's what you want. My biggest issue with this season so far is we ended season 1 to this point where it's like, bro, she's gonna be out for blood. It's gonna be so cool. It's gonna be this great revenge tale. And we're 3 episodes in, and all we've had is people sitting there talking about, oh man, I'm gonna get my revenge. Oh, I need her head on a pike. I need my revenge. Can you get your revenge? I'm waiting. I'm sitting here on my hands and knees, like waiting for something to happen. Was the ending of this episode cool? Sure. Yeah, that was the most interesting part of the episode, obviously, because she's trying to de-escalate the situation. That was really cool. And how she gets out of King's Landing unscathed, I don't know how she's going to do that, but you know, we'll see how that goes. But uh, most of this episode, I mean, I like the stuff with Aemond and Aegon. That was cool. But beyond that, it was just a whole lot of nothing. Like Damon he went to this place, I forgot what the name of it was. He went to this place to get an army, and he started seeing like random stuff. I was like, okay, I guess. There would I was The opening scene was interesting because like these two armies from the different sides, they had like this huge war. I wish we'd have seen it, but they have like this huge battle over who's rightful to the throne. I like that. And then Rhaenyra sends her children away for their safety, minus one of her children, because she's like her right hand woman, I guess, whatever. Um, that was pretty much it. I thought the episode was insanely boring when it ended. I was just like, oh, it's like, okay, I guess we wait another week. I guess, like I don't want to say it's not interesting because some things progress, but like when three scenes out of an hour and change episode stand out, dude, you gotta come on, bro. Like pick it up a little bit, bro. I don't know. What did you think of the episode? Yeah.
So I don't quite agree. I thought this episode was pretty good, actually. There were a lot of character moments here that were pretty dope. Um, and we get introduced to a few new characters, which is kind of interesting. We get introduced to Allison's brother, which had been mentioned, but we never seen him. Like we never knew, who he was. We kind of get like a vibe from him, like, he's kind of suspicious of Kristen and Allison's
He
relationship.
is not making it out of this season alive.
Probably not, but I feel like he's gonna actually like throw a wrench into
He
some
is.
things that are going on, so
Hmm.
that could be interesting. Um, like you said, the stuff with Aemon and Aegon was interesting to me. I was like, I I start to think about it, and I actually saw some posts, like some memes, talking about how Aegon has always been Aemon's biggest bully. None of the other Targaryens or the cousins have actually been his bully, and that makes a lot of sense after the scene that we saw this week. Um, the whole thing with Rhaenyra like really contemplating if she wants to start a war or not, like that makes sense because
Hmm.
of the type of character she has and who she is. And I don't want just go get your revenge. No, I want, some contemplation. And now that we got what we got in the final scene of this episode, okay, now it's like you realize like this is not going anywhere,
I
you need
do.
to.
I will say that in terms of the end, I do love the fact that Rhaenyra realizes what actually happened. She's like,
Hmm.
"Wait, say that again. What
Hmm.
did you just
What did you
say?"
just say? Hmm.
And I really like that because Allison didn't know what was happening. It's like, oh yeah, now we're at a point of no return because he was telling you a folklore. It's like, yeah,
Hmm.
you're screwed because you didn't have a good childhood and you wanted to be weird. So now we're all to the running because of that. That handmaiden girl from King's Landing, she sets her free.
Hmm.
I
And she comes back to
Yeah,
basically be her, you know, spy or
which I
information
said,
person.
which I said last week. I told you I was like, she's going to be the new Tyrion,
Yeah,
minus the charisma, but she's gonna be the new Tyrion.
it's Team Black's version of Laris, basically.
Yeah.
You know, somebody who gives information and kind of like scopes everybody out. Um, so and then we get Millie Alcock comes back
Yeah.
for a sequence, which it was kind of wild. I was like, it's in a dream sequence, obviously, but it was kind of interesting, and to see what like Damon is up to, and like kind of how he's making moves behind Rhaenyra's back, and he's trying to like do these things in her honor, but also like not telling her that he's doing these things. I don't know, like I don't know if what he's really wanting. Like, does he want to be part, does he want to be, on the throne, or does he, truly have this allegiance to Rhaenyra? Like, I don't know, and it's very interesting to see.
I mean,
Um,
I don't know. I feel like he has allegiance to Rhaenyra because it's like I feel like he would, if it were up to him, he would have hopped on a dragon and set King's Landing ablaze in
right,
5 seconds.
right, but he realized he couldn't do that and still, be cool with Rhaenyra. So I don't know.
I guess it all matters to, what happens after she takes King's Landing, which we know is going. There's no way that does not happen either at the end of this season or season 3.
I don't
There's no
know.
way.
I don't know
If we
about that.
get 2 seasons more deep into this show and something along those lines hasn't happened and people haven't died, I'm gonna be annoyed.
Well, we know some things about Rhaenyra's her fate. So we don't know exactly how things happen, but in
Well, we
Game of
know all these
Thrones,
idiots die.
well, I know, but in Game of Thrones, it's like told to us exactly what happens to Rhaenyra. It's
I don't
said
remember
that
that.
she's killed by her brother. So we don't know how that happens, when that happens, but you know, we'll see.
Targaryen lineage is a
Yep.
real bit.
Yep. Joffrey straight
Um,
up reads it. So
but this episode really didn't do a whole lot for me. I was kind of just sitting there with my hand on my head, like I was twisting and turning in my recliner, just like,
oh, that sucks, man.
something happened.
I
Something
hate that for
happened.
you. Because I did enjoy it a lot. And I felt that way when I watched episode 2. And I didn't feel that way watching this episode. So I don't know. I liked it.
I watched the trailer for episode 4 mainly because my mom doesn't like to be left hanging. She likes, the little appetizer for next week. And
Little
it
sneak
looks
peek.
it looks like it's gonna be way more interesting, but I said that about this week, and this week ended up being a slog. So if next week
Well,
ends up being slow too, then I'm probably just not gonna watch the trailers anymore.
I mean, it might be more action next week. Who
Well,
knows?
no, they showed a lot, but if you guys have seen episode 3 of House of the Dragon, let us know down below. Did you guys enjoy it? Are you guys enjoying the season so far? I am enjoying the season so far. I think it's pretty good, but I'm ready for it to actually pick up because I feel like we're out of the honeymoon phase with this show. We're like, come on, like let's go. So
I'm
yeah, if you guys
enjoying it.
have, I mean, I am too. I'm not enjoying it. I want it to pick up.
I think the most shocking part of episode 3 is when Anakin goes in and kills the younglings. That one that really got me there.
Wrong
Bobby.
episode 3.
Bobby,
I knew he was gonna have something for us though. I knew it.
How did I put some input in there?
Anywho, moving on to our final topic for tonight, and it is a spoiler talk for A Quiet Place Day 1. So if you guys have not seen A Quiet Place Day 1 and do not want to be spoiled, please exit the venue and come back when you have seen it. I have a spoiler-free review for this movie on my Instagram page at this moment. Go check it out. Or if you don't care about spoilers, cool, stick around. So I was very excited for this movie. This was one of my most anticipated movies of the year. The whole idea of doing a prequel about A Quiet Place on the day of the outbreak, I thought was like the best idea probably ever. I've been asking for a movie like this since the first movie came out. I was like, I would love to see a movie about the outbreak. I thought the trailers were very good. I love the cast that's in here, and I was like, this has no reason to not be a solidified banger. I walked. I went to the theater, sat down. About 2 hours later, I was like, like, oh, in the words of Bobby, that was a movie, all right.
Yep.
I'm gonna say this. I liked this movie. I think it's a good movie, but this was catastrophically disappointing for me. I thought it was a waste of the concept of doing it on the day of the outbreak, and I thought it lacked pretty much minus the monster scenes. I think it lacked pretty much everything that made those first 2 Quiet Place movies as good as they are for me. And I walked out. I was like, I mean, it was fine, I guess. A lot of people love this movie. I'm like, I'm happy for you, bro. But I just Yeah, the movie didn't really do a whole lot for me outside of the monster stuff, which we'll talk about. But another disappointment for 2024 so far. But it was a good movie. Do not hear me say this was a bad movie. It was a good
It wasn't
movie,
bad.
but it there were I had a lot of issues with this movie. Um, we'll go Bobby and then AJ because Bobby did not like this movie. Bobby,
I wouldn't say I didn't like it. It was a movie. I put it was 2.5 out of 5, which like retrospectively, like now that had time to digest it and like it was just kind of a guttural reaction, I'd maybe bump it up to 3. But for me, yeah, the trailers got you so hyped. You're like, this is gonna be so epic. Like I got Cloverfield vibes a little bit, and you get those moments, but then in between is where I think it kind of struggles a little bit. Touching on what you were talking about as far as like the way that they went with it, like the story, the plot between these like two main characters for the most part. I feel like you could plug this story into any disaster and you could tell the same story the same way in a sense. It wasn't uniquely tied to this event, to this disaster, if you will, to this invasion. It was almost like, here's this really cool story that we have about these two characters and like kind of making this, one character's kind of dream come true and kind of living life to its fullest, even in its darkest day. Like, let's smush that in. Oh, Quiet Place. Let's just mush that together. And it kind of felt a little flat for me as far as, I think it was like you said, expectations versus what we got. And I think that's why gutturally, like just originally I was like, it was like 2.5, and there were some parts I definitely dozed off a little bit. And then when the action picked up, I was very awake. But I wouldn't say I didn't like it. It's not like I'm going to go out of my way to see it again, but it was a movie.
AJ?
So with A Quiet Place, I love that first movie. I absolutely love the first movie. I think John Krasinski was in his bag, with this movie, and it really I really connected with it. Now with part 2, when I saw that initially, I didn't love it, but I liked it. After some rewatches, I can say confidently that I don't really care for that movie. Is it a fine movie? Is it good? Yeah, sure. But it's not one of my favorites whatsoever, and it pales in comparison to the first one. So when I heard about this movie, I was like, okay, another Quiet Place movie. They're doing it kind of differently. They're doing it in a city. They're doing it, day one. Interesting, Saw the trailer. I was like, that looks pretty good. I never was gung ho for it. I was never like, this looks amazing. This is gonna be the best movie of the year or anything like that. Like even close to that. I was just like, okay, looks cool. I came out of this film rather positive, actually. I thought it was really good, actually, and one of the biggest things that I loved about this movie was the character moments, and also Frodo, MVP. He's the goat.
MVP.
He's the goat.
Other than
Like that
any
made the movie.
yeah, other than any character in Dune Part 2, Frodo's the best movie character of 2024.
I love that character, and I really enjoyed this movie for what it was, and I'm kind of glad that people were like saying that it wasn't that great, because it kind of like really lowered my expectations going in, and I came out rather positive. So, yeah, and that's kind of how it was with another movie I saw today. But yeah, overall, it was good.
So we're gonna go beat for beat. We haven't done this in a while, number one, and since we had a short, you know, pre-show, if you will, I don't know. We'll go beat for beat, and this movie is relatively short. So this movie starts and we get a group. It's like a cancer survivor group. I think it's a
It's
cancer
No,
hospice.
survivor.
it's a hospice group, so it's everybody that's not going to survive.
Yeah, they're dying
And
for sure.
Yeah.
you're dead. You are dead. Um, and we get Alex Wolf, and he's asking Lupita Nyong'o to recite this poem, and it's a very sarcastic poem. I thought this was hilarious. Um, it was a good opening scene to let us know what kind of person she is. I liked her character. To me, was the best thing about the movie. That was not anything with the monsters. I really liked her character a lot. Minus one thing that we'll talk about that apparently people really like. I found it really stupid. Um, but I like this character introduction. I thought Alex Wolf was going to be in this movie longer than he was,
I did
and
not.
I was kind
He
of
wasn't in the
disappointed.
trailer hardly at all. You blink and you miss him.
Well, yeah. Um, so the Alex Wolf is like, "Oh, hey, we're gonna go see a show or whatever. Go get ready." And we see immediately the relationship she has with the cat, to where he's a support animal, and apparently, cats on a leash is being a thing now. Apparently, I don't know. I always thought cats never wanted to be on a leash, and sure enough, the cat in this movie is on a leash, perfectly fine. So they go see a show. It turns out to be a puppet show, and I love her reaction to it because she's like, "Oh my god!" And we see Dimon Hansu, which I think I'm saying his name wrong because I saw somebody say his name and it was like a whole other language. I was like,
It just sounds like Demon Hunter when you say it.
I don't know. And we see his family; they're all there from A Quiet Place Part Two, and silly old me. Last week I said, "Oh man, I'm excited to see Demon Hansu back." You know, they did his character dirty in Part Two. I can't wait to see him. Well, I did wait
You saw him.
5 minutes. 5 minutes less screen time
It's
than he
less than
had
that.
in Part Two. Bro, I'm seriously convinced Hollywood has an agenda against this man. I'm seriously convinced, bro. This man is done dirty in like every movie he's in that's not like Gran Turismo or Rebel Moon, because he's in Rebel Moon a lot. But like, why would you not have him in this movie? I don't understand. I think that could have been very interesting. I think it would have been very interesting to have kids in the mix again, but like the kids that don't know what's going on. I think that
There,
would have been very
there
interesting.
were a couple for like 5 minutes.
But no, he's there to basically, hi, I was in the last one. Hi, bye. I'll see you at the end. Because I said how this movie ends in Part Two,
Yes.
which I said that last week. I was like, he just spoiled the movie. That's exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't want to see this movie, just watch the exposition scene of The Quiet Place Part Two, and you know how this movie ends. And so Lupita Nyong'o leaves this puppet show, and she's like, I'm going anywhere but here right now. And
She wants
she
some
goes to
pizza.
the store. She goes to the store, gets something. She comes back, and Alex Wolf is like, "Oh, hey, like there's an emergency. We got to go back." And she gets on the bus, and this was the thing that I did not really like about this character. I found it stupid. The whole movie, she was obsessing for pizza, New York City pizza. New York pizza's fine. Okay, that's
Did you understand why?
no.
It's because
Because
her dad brought her there as a
It was
kid.
a sentimental
It
thing.
was a whole sentimental thing. Her dad brought her there as a kid after he played the jazz show. That was the whole reason why she wanted this pizza, bro.
I wish it was conveyed better because
It was
like
conveyed perfectly fine.
It was conveyed pretty well.
I don't know. I feel like up until we got the scene where they're in the club or bar or whatever, I like most of the movie. She's like, "No, I want pizza. I want pizza. I want pizza." I was like, "What?" It's like this is stupid, in my opinion.
She's gonna die, and she realized that she's gonna die, but she wants to go out with something that's memorable and something that reminds her of her father. That's deep. That's deep to me.
It
That's one of the character moments that I personally loved.
the bar scene is cool, yeah, but
No, I mean a part that like the pizza, the thing that she wants the
That was
most is
that
to
was her
be
big
close to her
motivation.
dad.
I don't know. A lot of the character stuff in this movie just it didn't really do a whole lot for me. So the outbreak starts and she runs out of outside of the bus and she something happens and she gets like she gets blown back into the theater, and then we get the title card and Demon Hansu finds her
Okay.
and they give her the cat back, and they're kind of just hanging out in this place trying to survive. And right about here, this is where my issue started with this movie. I really don't like with this movie how the characters in this movie know all of the rules for this franchise. So, my biggest example is they know that they have to be quiet to avoid the monsters. How do they know that?
Did we see the scene where she's outside in the fog and people are screaming and the monsters are getting them? That's
Yeah, but
that's her learning that.
I think there's
I
there's two other things too. So you don't know how long she was knocked out. So like
I
they
saw
could, they
somebody
had
say
some,
that, and I
yeah,
was
they
like,
had
okay.
some time in there. And two, if you listen closely to the planes that are flying overhead, they're legit saying don't make any sound.
But again, that's my point. How do
Yeah.
they know that?
Well, who's to say that? Like, I guess maybe like what we're seeing is the first wave. What if it had already happened in Tokyo or LA or something like that, and that's why they were scrambling
okay.
like they were?
All right.
So we don't
I'll
know for sure. It's day one, not hour one, I guess.
I'll give that a pass. Fine. That one I can overlook. How about the scene where they're walking in the rain and she's like, "Oh, walk under the rain to not be heard, to not let them hear you." How do they know that?
This brain makes sound.
But no, bro, that feels like something that a person who's lived in this world for a while would know. That doesn't the first day, I don't think really anybody would know that. They did that and I didn't like that at all. And that's my biggest issue with this movie. I was looking forward to seeing people that knew nothing about these monsters, nothing about the world, environment, nothing. And the whole objective was to survive. But they went ahead and they were like, no, we're gonna make it that they know everything how to survive, and it's just another story in this world. I did
I mean,
not like that at all.
they show us that they learn how to survive, and also if they just put a whole bunch of people there that didn't know anything, they would all die in an instant. And you would have no movie.
It depends on how you do it.
Okay, I don't know. That's just not an issue that I had with the movie.
I talked to somebody who had the same issue. They were like, I don't like that the characters knew everything about this world. But
I feel like in that scene though, you kind of see like a light bulb go off in her head. Now, I'll give you credit as far as like you don't know like how is her brain wired in such a way to realize this so quickly that she can speak under the sound level. Maybe her father being a musician, this is me just grasping at straws. I don't know. But yeah, like you do see the light bulb go off where she figures it out, like she didn't already know it. But it's like she figured that out real quick. So I can kind of like see both sides of that one.
I just wish that there was some struggle with the characters learning how to survive. I feel like they got it on a dime. That kind of bugged me. So she finds the cat and they go up to the rooftop. This scene reminded me a lot of Cloverfield. The same scene happens in Cloverfield.
I wanted a joint universe so bad after some of these scenes. I'm just like, let's go.
I've said that for a while that A Quiet Place would work as a Cloverfield type thing, but they want we got to connect everything. Cloverfield paradox. Woo. And this explosion goes off, and this dude is like freaking out, and Demon Hunter's trying to make him be quiet. He's like, shut up, and he ends up killing him by accident. And I think his kid sees it. More than likely, his kid sees it. We don't really see him watch him do it. Like he's there, and then he looks at him after he killed him, and he's gone. So I'm going to assume that he saw that. Um, and then he's gone. That's it. I think we get one scene where he's sitting at a desk, and that's it. He's gone. I was like, that that was it, really? It's like, okay, I guess he got paid again. So Lupita Nyong'o and Alex Wolff, they're chilling in this. It looks like a cellar, but like boiler room cellar, whatever. And the generator starts spazzing out, and
Yeah, because the lights go out.
he has to fix it. And immediately when he went to go fix it, I was like, "You're done."
Well, I think it was more so the fact that like because the electricity went out, the generator kicked on, which was making noise. Like I don't think the generator was malfunctioning. It's just the fact that it was making noise because it had to kick on. So I think he was just trying to turn it off somehow, and
Yeah,
just, yeah.
He was trying to turn it off, but
Yeah.
He had to go like back behind it, and when he was coming out, his like shirt got caught on it and it ripped.
Yeah.
There we get one of our first, crazy kills, in this movie.
The kills are pretty good in this movie. They're not nothing we've never seen before from a Quiet Place movies, but they're pretty good. I don't know if the scene with the cat ringing the bell happened before this or after.
I think it was after.
So they
right. Wait,
I don't remember. It was either before this or after. No, it had to be before because
it was before.
In it, the cat runs away, and she's trying to get the cat back, and then the monsters are outside the wall. I really liked this, and the cat runs back, and its tail rings a bell, and the monsters bust through the windows and all that. I like that. That was cool.
Probably it's the first intense kind of edge of your seat type scene.
Yeah, because that was in the lobby of the little theater there at the beginning.
Like I said, the monster stuff in this movie was very good. The monsters are still intimidating. The CGI looks great still, and they don't make it to where like, oh, the monsters are stupid now. No, they're just as scary and brooding as they've been the past two times, and I really like that.
And also, this is like the first time we see them in a huge horde like this. I feel like the most we seen them was like 2 or 3 at a time.
Yes, that was something that I loved about this movie. They pretty much the whole movie they're running around in these like insane waves, plowing through the streets. I loved that. That was a really cool touch. So they get out of this theater. They find out that there's boats towards the south side, and they have to all migrate. This was one of my favorite scenes. I loved this. This was kind of crazy, and part of me wished that this movie was rated R, so we could have actually seen the full glory,
body parts,
of this scene. Because when you think about what happens, this scene is kind of nuts. So there's like maybe 200 people walking in a line, migrating towards these boats. And then the monsters come, and they essentially, it feels like they killed everybody except Lupita Nyong'o. And when you looked at like the damage, you're like, oh no, they're all dead, like they're cooked. It's like, wow, that's kind of crazy. And I thought the sound design and all this in this sequence was great. I love this stuff. This is the first instance of unrealistic cat things in this movie, to where the cat runs. Well, I thought the cat running away was realistic, because I was like, yeah, that cat would have been out of there.
But there was like an explosion or something.
Yeah,
it's like blew up. Cat said,
the cat runs away.
It really didn't say anything. It just gone.
So Lupita Nyong'o ends up in this alleyway, and the cat, you see the cat roaming around, and it starts. I think it was licking the water, drinking the water. It was doing. It was messing around with the water, and Joseph Quinn pops out of the water. I'm convinced there's scenes either deleted or missing from this movie because how did he end up in there? I don't. I found that odd that that was the first time we saw him.
I
He,
mean, well,
j-
there were some like explosions going on, so he might have been in that line of people, and then got blasted or something.
but I do. I like
Or jumped into the water.
not even this scene though. There's a couple
Maybe.
scenes from the trailer with him that are not in this movie. Like there's this scene that he's like up against the wall and he's like yelling or something in the trailer that's not in the movie
That
from what I
happened
remember.
where they were. I think it might have been reshot, but that's when they were in the apartment later on, and they were screaming over
Maybe,
the thunder.
maybe,
You could
maybe.
see that.
That was the one shot I remember. I was like, I don't remember seeing that in the movie. But the cat essentially bonds with Joseph Quinn, and I like the relationship they have. Joseph Quinn in this movie, I thought was a little disappointing. There were some scenes where I really liked him. You know, I love him. You know, Eddie Stranger Things, it's my guy. I'm excited to see him as Human Torch in the MCU. He wasn't bad. You know, like I said, the acting outside of the monster stuff is probably the best thing about this movie. Um, it's just I think Lupita Nyong'o was like up here, and he was like here. I was like, he's cool. You know, he's serving the role okay. You know, he's not bad. There's no lines where I was like, that was bad. But there was really nothing that I was like, wow, that was like so good. You know, but the cat and him, they end up finding Lupita Nyong'o in this alleyway, and they start walking, and I really like how I like their relationship in this movie. I like how it starts too. So where she's like, "Why are you following me? Like, leave me alone." I thought that was
Oh
the
wait,
movie. Um, the movie also has a lot of comedy. This is definitely the most comedic of the three movies, and but I think the comedy works. I thought the movie was very funny. When it goes for it. Um, and essentially he's kind of just like I don't have nowhere to go. I'm from like London or something, and I'm here for law school, and my family's kind of like not here. And she's like, she in a nutshell, she's like, well, I'm sorry, but leave me alone. Like you have to go that way because I'm going for my pizza. Go somewhere else. Leave me
Kind of
alone.
like trying to get him to go to the boats. Yeah.
And they stumble upon these kids that are under the well. I think it was like
A
it was like a
fountain.
fountain.
water fountain. And again, I already said my issues about how they would know to stand under there, but I like this scene. She gives them the bar that she got at the store, and I think the army comes, and that's when they're like warning them. They're like, "Oh, they can't swim." Uh, they
Opening
really
the opening the can of cat food right before that
Oh yeah.
that was a
The high stress situation.
yes, that was an intense scene, and I like you think about it like you're opening a can of cat food, like whatever, and then you don't really think about the noise that it makes when you
Yeah.
open it.
Yeah, in the A Quiet Place universe, more than likely you're gonna get killed for the dumbest thing humanly possible.
Yo, imagine getting killed for opening a can of tuna, bro.
I would I would be dead quick. Like just fart once and like it'd just be over.
Like you would get killed for the dumbest
Yeah.
things in
Yeah.
that universe. Like if somebody died in a dumb way, you'd be like, I mean, they do have ultrasonic hearing, so I'm not gonna entirely fault you for that. You know, if you tripped and fell,
You're
kind of
cooked.
cooked. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
You're done.
So I think after this, they start walking again, and he's still following her.
Mhm.
And she's like, I guess come with me, whatever. And they end up going back to her apartment. I didn't know if this was really her apartment or not because she says it like, oh, yeah, it's like totally my apartment, you know.
Yeah. Like she was trying to convince him
But
almost. Yeah.
I guess it really was
Her
her apartment. She
her
just didn't
medicine
have
was
the
there.
key.
Yeah,
Yeah.
her medicine was there.
And I like this. This was cool to where he has to kick down the door, but he has to wait for the thunder. I liked that. That was cool.
I
I
love that.
stuff like that. I want to see more of that in A Quiet Place, to where they're coming up with new ways to survive like that. That was cool. I
That was
liked that.
cool.
Um, so they kick down the door, and they're chilling in her house, and he's reading some of her poetry, and we find out more about her backstory with her dad and all that. This was cool. I was fine with this because it was at the beginning of the movie, and I was just kind of like, okay, the beginning can be slow, but I feel like a lot of this movie was just slow for me, and I didn't really like that. I feel like the first movie, especially, is like that first movie is about the characters, but I feel like that movie is so fast paced, and the monster stuff drives that movie. I feel like this movie really lacked that a lot for me. So where there were points where I was just kind of like, can we get going with something, please? I don't know. Um, I don't know. It was just something that kind of bugged me. So she leaves him the next morning. Oh, how could I forget this? This was the part I hated this. Like I genuinely hated this. There's a fucking dream sequence in this movie, bro. Why are we still really doing dream sequences like this in 2024 in horror? Really? I found this to be so out of place and insanely goofy. They did this. I was like, wow. I was like, really? Like it's quick, but I was just like, really? That's not what we need from this franchise. You can be scary without doing stupid dumb shit like that. That was a nitpick, but it bugged the hell out of me.
I didn't have like an issue with it. Like it was one of those times that I woke back up. It was
It's a cheap
Say,
scare.
wake up.
yeah, but like in a movie where like they need like if you're talking about how like the pacing kind of struggled a little bit, like there's nothing wrong. I don't think it wasn't overdone in this movie. Like there's a balance between like kind of using what works and kind of giving the next act a little like kick in the butt and like a lighting a fire under it and waking you up. Like it legit woke me back up. Versus like a movie where you're seeing it 7 or 8 times. Now, if this had been done like, you know, kind of cheap, if that we had cheap scares, if you will, throughout the whole movie, then I think, yes, there's something to be said as far as like being super annoyed by it. But like one time, and like I said, it was like so brief. Like I feel like it wasn't like so out of place that I was like, oh my goodness, why did they do that? It was more
But
like,
I
oh,
feel like
whoa.
but the reason that I took issue with it is because the first two movies have such good scares, so where they don't have to do that. They're actual smart and well crafted scares. And there's one in this movie that I love. But I saw that and I was just kind of like, "Ugh, okay, whatever."
Do you think that maybe it was even better since you didn't get it in the other two movies and you didn't expect it from this?
What? Oh no, that's what makes it worse.
I actually like this. I actually kind of like this. It wasn't like Bobby said, it wasn't overdone. Like they didn't have multiple sequences where she was asleep and it happened like that. And it wasn't like you didn't know if she was asleep or not. She had her eyes open, so like it seemed like she wasn't asleep, and I don't know. I kind of liked how they showed the before and after the monster came and
The
did his thing.
transition was really cool.
Yeah, and she saw at like at first she saw the town. It was like it was fine, whatever. You see the monster, it's crazy, and then after she wakes up, you see the town and it's like ripped to shreds. And I liked that transition, but that I mean it didn't bother me whatsoever. That sounds like a nitpick.
She leaves Joseph Quinn in the house, and she goes downstairs to a bookstore, and she's kind of just looking at the books, and the cat turns around, and Joseph Quinn is back standing there, and she's like, bro, why are you following me? Like, leave me alone. I this was a running joke that I feel like if not done well, it could have gotten old, but I don't think it got old. I actually laughed pretty much every time. I thought it was pretty funny. Something I think the bookcase falls over or something, and then the monsters start going after them. And this is the scene where they're running through the street, and he throws the brick through the car,
The
and
alarm goes off.
we get the scene that we saw a million times to where he opens the door and the briefcase is there and it makes a loud noise, and they're falling through the skyscrapers. It was
It's a good scene.
cool. It was good. I just wish I hadn't seen it a million times before I saw the movie. um but this was cool, and I think this leads to the sewer part, I
Hmm.
think.
Yeah, well, they go down into the subway.
Yeah, they go down into the subway. There were a couple good jump scares here with the monsters. I really like this stuff. Um, I think this sequence was my favorite. I really like this part a lot, to where they had to sneak through the sewers,
Hmm.
and I had to die laughing because she's carrying Frodo in the bag most of the movie, and I was like, where is he? I don't see him. They put this damn cat in a briefcase, and the briefcase is floating on top of something. I'm like, yo, they built this damn cat a raft.
Yes, yes. Only the best for Frodo.
I need that as a Funko Pop. I need that as a Funko Pop. The water.
Frodo with briefcase.
Yes, Frodo with briefcase. I need that.
I would buy that.
And so they're swimming through the water, and they look up, and there's this hole, and the monsters are chilling in there. They're kind of like, I don't want to say stalking because they can't see, but I guess they're waiting to hear something. Which I don't know how they're not going crazy because the water is constantly moving. You would think that they're going
Maybe it's
crazy.
masking all the sounds, kind of
Yeah,
like the rain does, or like the fountain did.
which I do want to know more about that. How they hear the sound of water and they don't really react to that, because it is a sound.
Yeah,
You know,
but it's not like something that's. I don't know. It's something that's constant. It's not
It's
something
constant,
that's
natural.
like
It's almost like white noise.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like if there was a fan running, like I'm not gonna be like, oh, what was that? Like because it's been on, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So they had to sneak under this hole, and eventually something happens, and they start coming down, and the monster drowns.
Yes. I love
Uh,
that. That was a very intense sequence as well.
That was
It was
cool.
really well done too.
That was cool. But again, the cat just jumps out of the water, shakes itself off, and it's like, oh, that was a little breezy in there. It's like, what?
That's a
Well-
cat, bro. That's a cat. Bro.
What I liked about this sequence too is like you're told that they can't swim, right? So like you don't expect to see peril happening in the water, and you see it, and you're like, oh, is he gonna catch them? Like how long is he gonna get? And then eventually you see him fall out. But like they actually did do a good job of kind of giving you that question of like they were still in peril even though they were in the water.
I personally, I didn't think the characters were gonna die at all, really. So the ending kind of surprised me, but the whole movie I was never afraid of them dying, especially since Lupita Nyong'o had that cat. That cat was like a force field around her.
Well, I knew the cat wasn't gonna die, but I was wondering if they were gonna show Lupita Nyong'o die because we knew that she was going to die because she was in hospice, but we didn't know like if she was gonna die by the monsters or what. But Joseph Quinn, I didn't know if he was gonna make it to the end. I didn't know.
So they I think she gets knocked out. I don't remember.
I think his name is Eric.
But they end up in this like church, and we see a whole bunch of people praying for their survival. And I forgot what starts happening. I think she just needs her medicine. I don't remember. She starts having like an attack or something. Yeah. But she needs her medicine, and she tells Eric like, oh, I need this and this, and he ends up going to get it.
His side mission.
And of course the cat has to follow him. I loved it.
Oh yeah,
I loved it. That cat, man, MVP of 2024 so far.
This whole sequence felt like a quiet or not a quiet place.
Last of Us.
Last of Us.
It did go into the general store, go to the pharmacy.
Well, even leading up to it with the clickers. You're not trying to make noise because of clickers, and then Joel gets hurt or whatever. I kind of like put that in a parallel, and now Ellie has to go in on her little side mission. So
yeah, it's that same vibe for sure.
I really like this sequence. I thought it would like, I like the sewer part because it was exciting and intense, but this to me was the most like tense scene of the movie for me. I really liked this, and it has the best jump scare of the whole movie by a country mile, to where he's trying to get the cat and he's trying to be quiet and the monster just comes up at the side of his head. I actually jumped at that. I was like,
was that monster like bigger than the other ones?
Yeah, so this is really the only scene. Oh, so this is the complaint that people have with this movie, to where they don't dive into the monsters and give us more details about them. I never expected that walking into this movie, because I was like, well, it's day one. What are we gonna learn?
Don't know anything. Yeah.
I didn't really expect that. So when people and I saw a lot of people say that, I was like, people really expected that? I don't know. I feel like if we get A Quiet Place Part 3, that's something we should know, or like that's something we should expect. But this
A
one,
Quiet Place Day 0.
Or the video game that we're getting, which looks phenomenal, by the way. I feel like we're gonna learn a lot more about these things.
There's also at Halloween Horror Nights this year at Universal, we've got a Quiet Place haunted house that I'll be walking through on September 28th, and we'll see if they have any clues in there as well.
They probably will. I was doing the trivia because I went to a fan screening for this movie, and they did a whole bunch of trivia. Apparently, these things are called Death Angels. I was like, okay, I guess. I don't know where that name came from. I guess Krasinski came up with that one. But I was just like, okay, cool. I'm not going to call them that. That's a stupid name, but cool. I get it. They fall from the sky and they call it death. Cool. What was I talking about? This part. This part was cool. Like I said, the jump scare was really cool, and we saw I guess this was like a nest for them.
Yeah, this is the first time we ever seen them like feeding or eating.
Yeah, and then like those like egg type things and all that.
I would see that. I would have wanted to know more about, because I feel like they threw that in there.
They ate their own egg, and then it was weird.
Apparently, so I was watching somebody review this movie, and they said that they had a friend that saw an early version of this movie that had more explanation from where the monsters came from, and the test audiences didn't like it, and so they cut it out of the movie. I don't know what was in the movie, but I mean, if people didn't like it and they cut it out, I mean, that's good on them, I guess. But there was definitely a bigger monster in this movie. It was like huge, and it had a huge head, which was interesting. I didn't think we were going to see another form of these monsters, and I hope that whatever next Quiet Place movie we get, I hope that they develop on that. Now, I find it weird that we have a movie that's set 300 days or 400 days after this, and none of those big monsters are around. I find that a little strange. But
I think one of the reasons is because we're in such an isolated area in those movies.
Maybe.
Like, we're only like spanning like a few miles. Like, it's not that far, and there might be other creatures around the world.
I wonder if New York City is like the hive or the center of this, because the first two, they take place in Long Island or around Long Island, around there. So they're pretty close to New York City. So I wonder if there's more monsters here because this is like the center of it, to where like you get part 2, there's not really that much on that little island. There's a lot, but not that much. And then even in part 1 where they're at, there's even less.
And it's possible too, like, and that's kind of the beauty of it too, is we don't know what else is going on in the world, kind of like how I talked about earlier. And they could do a whole, their next movie could be about what's going on in LA or, like Detroit or something like that. And it could be about, like, you could have a whole
China,
new trilogy. Anywhere. Antarctica, that might be a little boring. Like
I
these
want
penguins going around like with their little flippers.
a snow version.
I want that.
Like,
yeah,
I want that.
And then because your steps crunch every time that you go. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Ice. You better not slip. You better not slip.
That's the one that I want. So eventually he saves the cat, gets the medicine to her, and she's like, "Oh, I'm feeling better. All right, I'm gonna go get my pizza." And he's like, "What? What is wrong with you?" And she's like, "Bro, I want my pizza. Well, we're going to this place that is, according to her, has the best pizza. I've never had it, so I wouldn't know.
Is it real?
I think so. I saw somebody pointed out that it was real. I don't know. That place is probably going to be like when Joker came out. Everyone in New York was on the damn steps. I feel like that's probably what that place is going to end up being like. So they go to the place, and to the shock of no one, it was demolished, destroyed, and she was upset. So she goes into this building, and I really like this to where he goes to another pizza place, makes the pizza, and he comes up behind her and writes the spot on it. I really liked that. That was cute. And they have a really fun moment in this bar. And this was I love this. This was like I really wasn't feeling the whole movie outside of the monster stuff. Like the character stuff was fine. This scene I was like, oh no, like this is really good. I like this a lot. This was cute. And they did a lot of acting without speaking, which I think if you can pull that off,
he did some magic.
Stands out.
Oh yeah, those card tricks were legit.
The card tricks.
It's good stuff.
And there was this sequence where she put the iPod on the speaker, and I was like, "Was she?"
I thought it was accidentally going to go off. Or like,
yeah, me too. I was
like once it recharged, and like sometimes like it turns back on, and then it's like all your alerts go off or something. I was like, "Oh,
right,
bro." She was rocking the iPod Nano, bro.
The iPod Nano. Well, she had the iPod, the classic earlier.
Yeah, because she had the wheel, the click, click, click,
yeah,
click, click.
She had that, but I guess she found the Nano and throw it on the charger, and I was like, that's not smart.
No,
but apparently she had headphones to plug into that. So,
which I don't know if that's legit, but whatever. It was a.
That's how you know it's a period piece because they still had headphone jacks.
Yeah, right. It's fun, very fun scene. So they get out of this and they're like, "All right, I guess we'll make way for the boats." So they get off. They find the boats and they see the boat already left, and they're like, "Oh, well, it's not that far. We can make it." And so she was like, "Oh, take the cat and run. I'm gonna distract them." I really liked this. This was cool. That I really liked the way they made it to where they caused the distractions and it's following her running through the lanes, if you will. And you see the horde, like that was cool. And I wish I did not see this part. I forgot where I saw it, and I was pissed that I saw it because it would have made it more like tense. But I think I saw like a TV spot or something to where they show the part where Eric jumps off the thing and the monster like swipes at him. They showed that.
I do think I remember seeing something like that where he's jumping off the pier and like it's like jumping after him. Yeah.
Like this is the part where I was thinking, because I didn't see that advertisement or anything. So this is where I was thinking he was gonna run, but he wasn't gonna make it to the end of the dock. So he was gonna throw Frodo into the water. And somebody was gonna dive in and get the cat. But
if that would have happened, I would have been like, bro, this damn cat. But Frodo makes it out with Eric and they make it to the boat. And again, exactly what Demon Hansu said in A Quiet Place Part 2. They're like, oh yeah, we got on a boat and we made it out alive.
Only 2 out of 6 made it, or whatever it was. Yeah.
So now it begs the question: where is Joseph Quinn in A Quiet Place Part 2? Because he's on the same boat as him, unless they split up. But I'm assuming they all went to that same island. I don't know.
He was in the Upside Down.
That was. See, I feel like this is what I was talking about. I feel like they should have killed them both off, because it's one of those, like,
I can agree with that.
Now we're gonna,
I like Rogue One.
Now AJ is not going back to watch it, but now when we watch Quiet Place Part 2, we're gonna be like, where is he? Where is he? Unless he died within that, the jump from day 1 to Part 2, which that probably happened. I'm sure somebody will tell us.
Maybe the sweater is what gave her cancer, and it gave him cancer too.
Not the sweater. Not the spreadable cancer.
Yes.
Not the contagious cancer.
That asbestos line sweater that her father wore back in the day in the photo. And because it was from back in the day, and that's what got her dad too. It's that sweater, bro.
Wow. Oh man, we love having you on the show, bro. We love having you on here, man.
Thanks for being here. I appreciate it.
So
one link for this whole movie is the sweater. Continue.
We cut back to Lupita Nyong'o. She's in the middle of the street. She's got her speaker thing, and she unplugs it, and she gives Eric a note, and the gist of it is she says, like, you taught me to remember what the city sounds like. Is that what she said? She said something like that.
Said, take care of my cat. I remember that.
Yeah, take care of my cat. Thank you for reminding me what the city something like.
Yeah, I think it was what the city sounds like. I think that's what it was. I could be wrong. And she unplugs the thing, and then the monster gets her. Well, more than likely, the monster gets her.
The monster comes down.
Yeah,
but we don't see it actually get her. But
that's how the movie ends. I saw people say that, like, oh, the final shot is gonna stay in your brain. I was like, I mean, it was cool, I guess.
I've been thinking about that final shot ever since I watched it. I loved how it kind of was on beat with the music too.
That was well done.
What was the song? End? Feeling Good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it.
And that's how the movie ends. I do think the movie got better as it went along. I did enjoy the third act a lot. I thought that was neat. But again, I thought the pacing was a little off at points, and small nitpicks with how they wrote the movie kind of bugged me. And I thought the whole concept of the day 1 was kind of wasted to me. And if anything, I'm more excited for the video game than I am this, because the video game that's coming out, it looks like they're gonna actually do a whole lot more with this world. I'm excited for that. I should have put that in the notes, but the game comes out, I think, at the end of the year, and it looks really cool. But if you guys have any thoughts, anything else to say?
As far as my negatives, I would say that the pacing could have been better. It could have been tighter. And that's really the only, I wouldn't even really call it an issue, but that's something that made it not a 5 out of 5 for me, is the pacing. But like I said, the character moments, the intense sequences were all really dope. And yeah, I enjoy this one. It's probably my second favorite of the franchise now.
Probably based off your score. I know it is your second favorite.
It's the second. Yeah, it's the second. It's my second favorite. It's up there though, close to the first one, but it doesn't click as much with the characters.
All right. If you guys have seen A Quiet Place Day 1, let us know down below what you thought of it. Are you kind of in the same boat of me as like being disappointed with it? I know a lot of people were disappointed with this movie. I'm not the only one. For people that say, "Oh, he's too negative about things." I know a lot. I know people that liked it less than I did. So don't
Bobby.
don't come crying to me about being negative. I know I was nice compared to what other people said about this movie. So yeah, if you guys liked it, let me know. Let us know down below. And is just your favorite of A Quiet Place, the trilogy? I know a lot of people said that. I saw that a lot of that going around. I still think the first one is the best, God tier.
Oh, absolutely. First one's great.
Moving on to our last topic of the night, it is a physical media update. I have 3 things. I don't know how much AJ has. 3. So I'll let AJ go first.
Okay, so I picked up Shrek, the 4-film collection on 4K. Ooh. Yeah, it's kind of like got this little nice slip box.
It's a really nice
I love
box.
Shrek. I love Shrek. Me and Tyler watched the first one last night. Gave me an excuse to watch the 4K for the first movie, and it was outstanding. And I'm excited to see what the other ones look like on 4K. Love Shrek. The first one is my favorite. I know a lot of people like 2 a lot, and I like it, but 1 is my favorite. Then I got Rick and Morty season 7 on Blu-ray Steelbook, and it was like $15 on Amazon, so I went ahead and picked it up. Yeah, usually the Steelbooks are like, over 20. Yeah, well, over 20. Sometimes they're like 25, 27. But this was 15 last week, so I was like, I gotta get that. I'm collecting them. I have seasons 1 through 4. I need to get 5 and 6, and now I have 7. And last but not least, I picked up this behemoth of a set. I got Dexter original series, and then New Blood, the revival series. I absolutely love this show. I don't care if the ending sucks on the first one. I actually like the revival series a lot. So yeah, those are my pickups.
Blu-ray or DVD?
It is Blu-ray. It's a nice set.
All right,
I hate that it's clamshell, but I'm glad I have it.
I have 3 things as well. AJ sent me these. I purchased 2 of these, and then he gave me 1 of these. So the first thing I got is BVS Ultimate Edition 4K. Somebody's gonna ask, well, why did you get this again? Well, my copy of the 4K is the IMAX enhanced version, and me being annoying, I wanted the version to where it was 4K and it was widescreen the whole time, just to switch it up. And I wanted it with a slip. I do have it with a slip. I fucking hate that I can't take the stupid sticker off. But I love this movie. Y'all know I love this movie. Go back and watch the watch along we did, turning all the way up for this movie. I love it. Next, AJ gave me the Scream Factory 4K of Escape from New York. I've been wanting to watch this movie for so long. John Carpenter is a director I want to go through his filmography for, and AJ, I guess, watched the movie twice and was like, I know Tyler wants this, so I'll give it to him.
I started it a couple weeks ago, and I watched like maybe an hour, and I couldn't even finish it. And I was like, I'm gonna give this a disc replay. Better yet, I'm gonna give it to Tyler.
I love this cover too, but yeah,
the artwork's great.
I'll be checking this out soon because it is a movie I've been wanting to watch for a while, and I think the people that did Abigail and the new Scream movies are doing a remake to that.
Oh,
it was supposed to be Lee Winnell, but I think it switched over to them. Anywho, I'm excited for that. And the last thing I got is this is Scream Factory, right? Yeah, Scream Factory Steelbook for Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. I know a lot of people were like, "This is an abomination against humanity." I really like this. Well, I don't really like this movie. I really like this Steelbook. I think that's what.
Did you like it more than A Quiet Place Day 1?
No, not this one. No, not even part 2. But I love the steelbook a lot. I really like the steelbook, and it was only $10 where AJ was. So I was like, bro, I'm gonna send you the money for that. $10 for a Screen Factory steelbook, absolutely.
That's a great deal.
I did not hate this movie like most people. I expected it to be like the worst thing ever, and it was watchable, fine. It's not very good, but I thought it was there. You know, I didn't hate myself watching it. Um, the sequel I really liked, actually.
I didn't know the sequel came out already.
Yeah, it came out a while ago. The sequel was actually a lot of fun. That is probably going to be a day one. I'm excited to get that on physical. But yeah, it's been beyond the word slow for physical media. I know Ghostbusters came out. I'm not buying that day one. That movie was trash. I'm sorry.
I wouldn't call it. No, I wouldn't call it trash. It was
It's
just,
not.
it was fun.
It's not Ghostbusters 2016, but it was not very good. I did not like it.
Which did you like more, Quiet Place Day One or Ghostbusters?
A Quiet Place Day One.
This is going to be a running joke now. I think every time we get together. Which did you like more, Quiet Place Day One or Terrifier 3?
But I'm gonna get the. I'm going to more than likely get that Godzilla. I've been talking about it for like a month at this point, but I'm probably gonna get that MonsterVerse box set. Because I do want that. And then I'm probably gonna get some stuff for either Prime Day or Criterion sale. There's only really one Criterion that I want from the Criterion sale right now, so it's probably more than likely just gonna be Prime Day. But even Prime Day, I'm probably gonna look at it and be like, I don't need this. I don't need this. Probably going to buy the things I say that do, but I don't know. Yeah.
You walk into Barnes and Noble, you're gonna have a whole bag full of stuff. Walking out.
No, not to be honest. Like I went ham last year for Criterion's. That's because I got pretty much everything that I wanted. The main Criterion I had wanted was The Princess Bride, and then I didn't get it because the 4K was coming out, and then I got the 4K when it came out. The only real other I want La Bamba. That's the one that I want, and then
I love that movie.
I would get Menace to Society, but even that I haven't thought about that movie a whole lot since we watched it.
Mm-hmm.
I would maybe get Punch Drunk Love just because that's a movie that I've been wanting to see for so long, and
I like that one.
You know,
I want 12 Angry Men. I want Wall-E.
12 Angry Men is one that I
want Wall-E real bad.
I want Wall-E on 4K. I need that for my collection. And then there's some other ones, but like nothing like. Oh, I do want Perfect Days as well. That's a new one that's coming out in July, so it's coming out during the sale.
The way people get with the Criterion sale when they go on a ham, that's how I get when the Sharktober sale happens. Like, bro, I've gone ham the past 2 years for Sharktober. Like, that is my Criterion sale to where I'm like, nah, I need this, and this Screen Factory. I need all this stuff.
Are you getting Twister?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna get Twister. I do want to watch it first before I buy it, but I'm probably gonna get it.
And then Civil War is coming out too soon.
That's a day one, no question. Yeah, that is gonna do it for this episode of Nerd Talk. Very short episode tonight. Short movie, light on news. I could have thrown the set photos from Superman in there, but I was like,
no, I don't want to see any more set photos. I'm done.
Yeah, they need to lock down the lot.
Well, it's because it's not a lot. It's public square. That's why it's so legit. Like I could just drive over there right now and be like, just live on location for Nerd Talk.
They revealed today what
Genesis Watch.
They revealed today what Green Lantern and Hawkgirl look like without the special effects today. They look good, but I was just like, all right, this is starting to get absurd, bro.
There's too much, yeah. The fact that like even like local news like outlets like are like sharing the spoilers now, it's like it's so hard. Yeah, like
it's like on TV.
Yeah, like Fox 8 and then like Cleveland.com also. You can go like you scroll through and it's like, oh hey, check out these spoiler photos from like no.
Stop it.
Stop.
My eyes. But we're gonna get on out of here. Next week we will be taking a break, and then after that we're gonna have like 3 or 4 straight nerd talks. So I hope you guys are ready for that. The next episode of Nerd Talk, we will be back doing a live watch along for X-Men Days of Future Past. Very excited for that. We're gonna do 2 watch-alongs in anticipation for Deadpool and Wolverine. Do the math on what the other one would be, or you can just go check out our Nerd Talk schedule on our Instagram, which was updated yesterday. Check out our Instagram. The link is down below. In terms of new stuff for me, I just posted a review for The Bear season 3. Go check that out. Very, very good season. I'm probably going to post my review of Maxine Friday.
That's
I
what I'm
didn't want to.
seeing.
I didn't want to post it too early because I did see it on Monday, and I kind of wanted to let people see it first before I posted it. Who knows? Maybe I'll be nice and I'll post it tomorrow. We'll see. But just know I loved that movie, and I think a lot of people are going to be very happy with that movie.
I'm excited.
Bobby, let people know where they can find you, bro.
You can find me right here at twitch.tv/Dababa. You can also find me on YouTube at the same handle. You know, I haven't been doing as much as far as the content goes recently, mostly because my room is so freaking hot. And with the heat wave we've had, it's just been unbearable. Like, I've got my fan under my desk blowing, like, just straight on my legs right now, just keeping me cool during this. But I definitely want to get back into some GM mode on 2K24. I definitely want to get back in and do some more Zelda, some more Pokemon. I've been kind of chilling on the paranormal stuff this year for some personal reasons, and my life's been a lot better, for it. So who knows? Maybe we'll have some more spooky stuff on there. But then, once September rolls around, I'm contemplating. I'm taking a trip down to Halloween Horror Nights and doing Disney as well. Contemplating doing a little bit of a content kind of thing there, whether it's like live reactions to each house, or I don't know. I'm thinking about something. But if you like spooky stuff, if you like wrestling, you like gaming, I'm your guy. Come hang out.
Speaking of spookies, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, as far as my content, I'm gonna try to have 3 reviews out by the end of the week. I'm gonna have Quiet Place, Horizon, American Saga, and Maxine. I'm gonna try to have those 3 out by the end of the week. So stay tuned for that. And then
what
you said
The Bear. You gotta review The Bear.
I haven't even watched a single episode of The Bear yet. Season 3. So. Yeah, I know. Me and Stacy need to get on it. We need to get on it. I know.
This guy, I watch everything day one. I binge everything, bro.
I do binge everything, but I don't watch everything day one. I don't watch everything day one. I'm gonna say that right now.
You saw A Quiet Place day one. We all did. I don't know. You're pointing at your door. I'll be there in 4 hours, I guess.
Oh, I was not expecting that. Oh, Bobby. Anywho,
you said speaking of you said speaking of spooky stuff.
I was gonna talk about Toronto.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
So OVRs, we dropped our Total Recall OVR. Thank you to everyone who watched that, by the way. Did very good with reviews. That was a very fun one. And our OVR for Piranha should be dropping in a couple of weeks. That was a fun one. That one is going to be one not to miss. And also, thank you to everyone who is subscribed to our channel. We just passed 150 subscribers. I think we're at 159 or 160 already. Let's aim to be at 200 by the end of the year. That is a goal. I think I set that last year, but let's aim for 200 by the end of this year.
I think every single person, if you're watching this live or if you're watching this on demand, you just share this video with one person. Like it's easy. So just give it a share, text it to somebody, and be like, "Hey, you watched The Quiet Place the other day? Check out this video." Just share it, and even if it's with one person, that makes a difference.
For sure, and it's free. That's the most important thing.
$3.99.
It's free.
If it's free, it's from me. I'll take 3.
God. Okay.
It's Mark Henry right there for you.
We are going to get out of here. Thank you to everyone who joined us tonight, and we will see you in 2 weeks for a watch along of the X-Men Days of Future Past. Thank you, everyone, and also have a safe 4th of July.
Yes, don't lose any limbs.
Don't blow yourself up, please. Be
Finish
safe
the story
and enjoy your holiday, everybody.
Peace.